Among the many moments in Dragon Ball Z, one of the most popular aspects are the different transformations. Infamously, there's the Super Saiyan transformation, which is undoubtedly pretty cool. Then you got your Kaioken, your Super Saiyan 2s, the autonomous Ultra Instinct, hell, even the cool monkey forms. But there's one very amazing transformation that a character goes through that is not talked about among the hierarchy of DBZ transformations, possibly because it's just too superior. With the ability to transform at any given moment by the simple click of his watch, Gohan can undergo the best transformation in the entire series. I'm pretty new to the Dragon Ball Z community, but based on what I've heard and seen, Great Saiyaman, at least for the longest time, was not a fan favorite. Maybe times have changed, but the early Boo Saga episodes where he goes around saving the city are legit some of my favorite episodes. Over the years of existence, I guess, there are a handful of Great Saiyaman figures, usually either depicting his helmet look or the bandana sunglasses look. Going back to the Irwin Toys line, there were a couple different Great Saiyaman figures. One in the traditional wave under the title of Great Saiyaman Saga, which is pretty sweet. There was another release under the Striking Fighters line, which had an action chopping feature, which I'd imagine was to simulate the action poses he does. And then there were a few other releases, even a Great Saiyagirl figure back then, which is pretty cool. But out of all the Great Saiyaman action figures, there's one definitive option. As of now, the best Great Saiyaman action figure is the 2019 S.H.Figuarts release. So how about we take a look at the Defender of Truth and see if S.H.Figuarts did Great Saiyaman any justice with this release. Here is the unmitigated champion of justice, the Great Saiyaman! Before we start, I want to preface saying that my figure was pieced together using some parts from a bootleg, so if there's any weird paint or proportion issues, that's probably why. He's like 95% real. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the figure. Comparing him to the anime appearance, he looks great, pun intended. Let's go over articulation, which is important for Great Saiyaman as he has quite the dynamic poses. But like I mentioned earlier, this was released in 2019, meaning by today's standards he's an older figure as Figuarts are constantly evolving with each release. From my intense research, there's different classes of body molds, older ones being 1.0, then there's 2.0, and the modern releases being 3.0. So I think this mold is considered a 2.0 release, so he's a bit outdated. But besides that, he does every basic movement you'd want him to. Starting at the bottom, there's double jointed legs with foot movement and toe hinge. There also is upper leg movement as the skirt piece is made of a soft plastic so it doesn't hinder any articulation. Moving up to the torso, there's a waist swivel at the belt with a pretty good upper diaphragm cut. As for the arms, there's double jointed elbows with a bicep cut and a wrist hinge. The shoulders have an interesting system as they pop out to make the butterfly movement, but obviously cut up the green shoulder pieces of the outfit. A cool detail about his forearm is that it actually details the transformation watch. For the head, it spins around all fine, but I feel like he can't look upwards well enough. It may just be me nitpicking though. The final piece of the costume is the helmet, which perfectly recreates the look from the series, and it even has swappable features of its own. Included are two mouthpieces, one stern and one shouting mouth. Very cool. But also you can have just the helmet on its own. Before going over accessories, I need to talk about this cape. This is a large plastic cape, which I think is already a bit divisive. The cape is split into two pieces, being the shoulder piece and the cape itself. You easily plug in the two pieces to create the full cape. Interestingly, it has a joint, giving it some articulation. It can spin around in any direction whilst retaining this neutral, flowing design. But there's two main problems I have with it. For one, it doesn't like to stay connected to his back and easily falls off whenever you start moving him around. Secondly, this rubber piece moves around a lot, which is kind of annoying since they decided to give him like two star nipples where the gold circles are supposed to be. But I think it's just an unfortunate aspect of the dual design option since in the World Tournament, they are there. So it is what it is, I guess. Great Saiyaman, besides being the protector of truth, is known for doing very elaborate poses, and as such we needed a grand assortment of hands to recreate them. And I guess Gohan needs fighting hands, but we'll get to that later. As for the Great Saiyaman hands,
I am the unmitigated champion of justice, who tolerates no evil! Great Saiyaman at your service!
Amazing. One super last note about accessories is that he comes with replacement antennas in case you lose or break them. Great Saiyaman is my favorite character in the entire series, and he's got a very fun action figure. He can recreate all the epic hero poses and overall just a great figure to mess around with. Before wrapping up the Great Saiyaman segment, there is something important I do want to mention, the canonical teammate of Great Saiyaman.
I am Saiyaman #1!
Saiyaman #2 at your service.
Bold, fearless,
And gorgeous!
we are the Saiyan Supreme crime-fighting team!
I don't know how likely it is, but getting a Great Saiyaman 2, or Saiyagirl, or Saiyawoman, whatever you want to call her, would be awesome. There was an old Great Saiyagirl figure, but those don't quite scale well with S.H.Figuarts, and I think she just deserves a better release. Maybe one day, who knows. While branded as a Great Saiyaman figure, this release actually gives you many customization options to create other Gohan looks in this outfit. There are bonus pieces to remove the Great Saiyaman accessories. After removing the cape, you get a piece to cover the slot in his back, and an interchangeable forearm to remove the Saiyaman watch. Then there are 3 alternate head sculpts, 2 Gohan heads and the World Tournament Great Saiyaman design. I think the Gohan portraits look pretty good. The base form one almost has a cartoonish aspect to it, similar to the San Diego Comic-Con early Goku figure. As for the Super Saiyan face, I think it looks fine, but it's probably my least favorite. I think it would have been cool if we got an interchangeable faceplate to have the sunglasses and the angrier expression. Then there's a tournament disguise, which looks great. He's just so happy. A cool thing to note about this head specifically is that you can spin around the 2 strings on the back of his head in whichever direction you want, allowing for more dynamic posing, which is really cool. Though maybe if we got an interchangeable mouth like the helmet version, just to have options would have been cool. The do-rag and sunglasses look is nice for Saiyaman, but I personally like the orange helmet just a bit more. Then finally, the last set of hands being these fighting stance hands. Very nice. I think it's great that S.H.Figuarts gives you the pieces to create these different looks. It makes this figure a great offering for Gohan during this era in the series. When speaking about character pairing, the best character to pair honestly any older Gohan with is Videl. For some reason, S.H.Figuarts has never made one. Like with Great Saiyagirl, there was an Irwin Toys Videl, but the scaling isn't quite right, so we need a Videl. Please and thank you. Overall, this is a pretty good figure, but I think he deserves an upgrade. Stuff like more articulation and better proportions, a better neck joint, a new system for the cape, perhaps even soft goods, I think would all greatly benefit this figure. But what we did get was a great release for Gohan and a pretty packed offering of accessories for customization. Great Saiyaman has appearances in the original Dragon Ball Z series and movies, and even a few appearances in Dragon Ball Super, so a re-release can work under either title. If they make a Dragon Ball Super version, I would love a Stuntman Gohan head sculpt, though it would probably need an alternate neck joint. Despite having a bunch of hands already, I think even more gesture hands, stuff like pointing hands, peace hands would be cool. The more options the better. If S.H.Figuarts was based, we would get a super Great Saiyaman look, where he's all battle damaged. That would be really awesome. S.H.Figuarts seems to be steadily working their way through the different arcs, so maybe once they release the Buu Saga, a remake of Great Saiyaman, or even a Videl may be possible. But in the end, this Tamashii Nations Dragon Ball Z figure from 2019 still works as a great representation of the unmitigated champion of justice who tolerates no evil, the Great Saiyaman! Alright, bye.